Just when they thought I was out, they pull me back in.
Welcome back, everybody, to this trade deadline special. Wayne Wilcox, getting us started right away, says, we are irrelevant. So I'm on a little bit early because there was not as much prep to do. The Yankees only got one player at the trade deadline. His name is Keenan Middleton. He is a right-handed relief pitcher. I'm going to do a quick overlay of his StatCast data because I do think it is worth looking at. So let's pull up that real quick. So as you can see, he's got a great average exit velocity against. Hard hit percentage is excellent. Expected batting average is excellent. Chase rate is great. A lot of extension. Good fastball velocity. Good spin. Gets a lot of swings and misses. He is 29 years old, big, lanky right-hander, but I have no doubt that with the Yankees' luck, he'll be having Tommy John surgery inside of 6 weeks. Brian Cashman mostly sat out the trade deadline this year, once again. If you remember, after the Yankees signed Carlos Rodon this winter, Hal Steinbrenner said, "We're not done yet." I think it's safe to say now that no more moves can be made. The Yankees are officially done. No word yet on who the Yankees gave up for this. The Yankees were the only team of 30 that didn't make a move until about half an hour ago, since July. Brian Cashman has gotten cautious to the point where it's hard to tell if he's awake. I look at our owner, or I should say I don't look at our owner, Hal Steinbrenner, because he's never at Yankee Stadium. The only time you see him on Yankee Stadium is when they need somebody to carry the big check out onto the field. That's the only time you see Hal Steinbrenner. But Cashman seems to have adopted the same mentality, which is not really pay attention, don't really do anything. The Yankees essentially sat out the offseason and the first 4 months of the regular season without making any significant moves after Rodon. You got one big major league contract other than re-signing Aaron Judge, which everybody assumed the Yankees would do. Nothing to address left field. Nothing to address third base. Now, sure, the Yankees have acquired a couple of guys along the way that have contributed. Willie Calhoun had a couple of nice games. Franchi Cordero had a couple of nice games. Jake Bauers has 9 home runs. He's got, I believe, 13 extra base hits. But George Fung says it best. Brian Cashman is in a coma. He is in a vegetative state. Now, looking at Middleton, you can see he wears number 99, so he's going to have to change that number. Going to have to shave his beard. But I essentially look at him and I see Jose Abreu with less of a fastball. I don't know. I haven't really watched him pitch very much, but just on the highlight reel that we've seen, he's got a decent fastball, 95, 96. Good changeup. Apparently he gets a lot of swings and misses on the changeup. But 3.96 ERA on the season. Does have 47 strikeouts in 36 and a third innings. So overall, if you are a Yankee fan, I mean, there's not a lot to be excited about right now. Former TSTV says the Yankees betrayed us. They betrayed us, in the words of Bane. Look, they have sat on their hands, and they have watched this season fall apart. They did nothing to address the offense, which is the worst part of the team right now. I felt like the bullpen was pretty good. I mean, we've had some issues lately, but overall this season, bullpen's been not too bad. They just sent down Marinaccio. He's really struggled. But you're getting Loizaga back. And Loizaga is expected to be, Loizaga, one of the best relief pitchers in baseball, if he's healthy. The fact that the Yankees didn't do anything to address the offense is absolutely absurd. Absurd. I'm in disbelief. Andrew Taylor says they didn't buy or sell. Damn. It's shocking. How can you look at this organization and think, everything's cool? We'll just sit this one tight. Oh, you know what we need? Another relief pitcher. That's the only move we're going to make. At this point, you have to seriously wonder if Brian Cashman is even trying to win. Or if there's like some conspiracy at play where he's still pissed off at Hal's dad, and so he's buddy-buddy with Hal Steinbrenner and tanking the team on purpose. How do you sit out the offseason when you need a left fielder, you need a third baseman? Unreal. Robert McCabe says, wow, Cashman's in a coma. Are you sure he's still alive? I mean, do they really think this team, which is 10 games out, by the way, is going to win anything? The Mariners were essentially where we are in the standings, and they're unloading. How could you not take advantage of the fact that Harrison Bader is going to be a free agent? You're really going to try and re-sign another right-handed bat who can't stay healthy, who can't stay on the field? You're really going to give that guy a big contract? You're just going to dig yourself into a deeper hole. The smart move was to unload people. They didn't do that. Well, then you could say, well, the next best move, we can try and make a miracle comeback. Let's go out and get a bat, a significant bat, and hope that they can inject some life into this team. Nope. Just the ghost of Aaron Judge coming back. I am that I am, says Cashman to the moon, Alice. Wayne says Cashman isn't done until Hal fires him. It's not going to happen. It is never going to happen. Hal has more loyalty than a golden retriever, man. And Cashman has more job security than a Supreme Court justice. Andrew says Cole is the only good thing on this team right now. I wouldn't go that far. Mir says, can I start panicking now? I mean, there's no reason to panic. I mean, it's over. It's like, what is there to panic about? We did nothing other than add a relief pitcher that we didn't really need that much. No word on what we gave up. But I would not be shocked if the Yankees finish in last place and miss the playoffs. I'm pretty sure they're going to miss the playoffs. The only question is whether or not they're going to climb out of the cellar before they do. Lou Rom says, let's face it, folks, this season is a wash. Done. I mean, I think that the lack of moves assures that, for sure. I mean, how can you watch this team for months and months and expect them to be better? You really think you're not going to have any injuries over the next 2 months? You really think guys are going to suddenly start hitting? We spend a lot of time going back and forth. Who could be traded? Who's going to be the big move? We spent a lot of time discussing this as a fan base. Everybody's got lots of ideas, creative ideas, except our GM. George Fung says, year after year, Cashman thinks he has a great team, doesn't go after good pitchers and hitters. When is he going to wake up and see that he is wrong all these years? The fact that you got swept in the ALCS and didn't immediately, and let me just backtrack a little bit, swept in the ALCS and had an embarrassingly bad offense while you're at it and have done nothing to address the offense is absolutely unforgivable. It's a firing offense. But Hal probably didn't even know the trade deadline was today. Hal's probably flying over Europe in his little jet, enjoying that Star Insurance money. Unbelievable. Let's take another couple of comments here. There's not a lot to talk about. I was expecting, a half an hour packed show with lots of, moves and analysis of the guys we picked up, the guys we traded away. But Cashman was asleep at the switch. Or they made a conscious decision that this team they think can win, which to me is probably even worse. When you have the data and you don't listen to it, that's the worst form of stupidity. When you don't believe what you're seeing in front of your eyes, that's delusion. Ian RL says, we better hear fire Cashman chants at the stadium tonight. Jay Mata says, don't forget, this team showed 0-4 ALCS Red Sox comeback highlights to the Yankees when they were down 3-0. This organization is a joke. To me, that's one of the most absurd things I had ever heard of when we heard about that last year. By the way, you're seeing it on your screen now. This podcast brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app to your phone or smart device. Buying tickets to your events should not be stressful. It should be stress-free. Use the code NYY Recaps to get $20 off your first purchase. View your seats, all that good stuff, rainout protection. The number one ticket app for last-minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. Game Time. Thank you very much to our sponsors. Mark Ward says, would you have traded Peraza and Cabrera for Soto? Of course I would. But the Padres were not going to trade Soto. Listen, I don't know how many times I have to explain this. The Padres traded for Soto with the intention of getting 3 playoff races out of him. That was the whole point in giving up all the prospects that they did. They were never going to trade him before the second playoff run. They're going to hope that they win. They added a little bit today. They're probably going to be aggressive in the offseason and try and give this one more go next season. But what you're seeing is that the Yankees are content with what things are. They believe in Jake Bauers, who, to his credit, has hit some home runs, has had some nice hits. But you're getting nothing out of first base. You're getting nothing out of DJ LeMahieu at third base. You've got nothing out of left field all year long. It's absurd to just stand pat and say, well, we're going to pad the bullpen. That's a hand wave to the fans. That's an insult. You should be insulted. You should be insulted by this move. That the Yankees did nothing. After all the money that we pay for apps, for parking, for tickets, on jerseys, on everything that allows this team to spend $300 million, basically, of our money. We're the customer. We demand some effort into making this a good team. Writing a big check once in a while to a guy who's, an obvious move is not the caliber of baseball aficionado that we need as a GM. 2009, Cashman wrote big checks to everybody. This year, it was Judge and it was Rodon. And you think, because we spent, $500 million, we had a big offseason. How much did the Rays spend? How much did other teams spend that are ahead of you? Cashman should be ashamed of himself.
Oh, shit. Here we go again.
Majora 24 says, sell the team. It'd be a cold day in hell when that happens. But, what choice do we have? Hal is never at the games. I think that's one reason that Yankee fans miss George Steinbrenner. It's not that he was always firing the manager or always making all these moves. It's that he was engaged, like we are. He was at the games all the time. If something bad was happening on the field, the camera would always pan up to the owner's box, and you see Steinbrenner standing there in his turtlenecks with his arms crossed, looking unhappy. How often do you see him pan to the owner's box now? Never. Do you want to know why? Because there's no one there. Bunch of corporate people in there. Star Insurance people are in there. And they're having a great time. They brought their kids. They're dining on $85 steak while the Yankees get 3 hits. Andrew Calabria says, stop going to games. William Flores says, Hal Steinbrenner is Wilpon 2.0. Now, Cohen at least has had some cojones on him. Cohen at least has gone out there and made some moves, unloaded some bad contracts, and got some prospects. They got Acuna's brother. They've made some great moves to set themselves up. They recognized they were not going to win this year, and their pride didn't get in the way of them saying, you know what, we're going to set ourselves up better for the future. The Yankees not only didn't get better this season, maybe a slight, improvement in the bullpen if Kenyon ends up being, Clay Holmes 2.0 or whatever. But their offense didn't get better at all, which is the big problem. But not only did you not get better, you didn't unload any contracts, and you didn't get better for next season. You didn't get any prospects. To me, this was one of Cashman's worst calendar years as a GM. Going back to the offseason where he did jack through right now. Seven Sins says, the front office is running this team like a bunch of politicians. They don't care about the fan base. We pay all this money to watch them play, and what do we get in return? A bunch of washed out veteran players. Sick.
Bing.
Jerry Glenn says, Cashman, Sabia, and Minaya are the 3 stooges. I don't even know what Sabian and Minaya are doing. I haven't heard from them. I haven't seen them. I think Minaya was part of the draft this year. That's what I've heard. But you never see any of these guys around Yankee Stadium. Looking past you wants to make Jeter the GM. I don't know if Jeter wants to be a GM. I think Jeter would be an excellent front office guy, as kind of like the Andy Pettitte to pitchers, but Jeter as a consultant on the type of players to bring in. Game recognizes game. People, as a competitor, you can tell when somebody else has that competitive spirit, that fighting spirit. And I think Jeter would be a great guy to come in and have him sit in on the meetings for who are you considering getting. Watch tape of the guy, maybe meet the guy, see him in person, that type of thing. Jeter's got a great intellect. He's got one of the great baseball IQs of all time. Of all time. Let him use it. Instead, he's on Fox with fucking David Ortiz. What a waste. What an absolute waste. Darthia says, Brian Cashman keeps outdoing himself. How is he outdoing himself when he does nothing? He's there's got to be another way to say that. He keeps underperforming himself. Is that more precise? Andrew Calabria says, trade review, F minus. John Kirk says, do the Yankees have a team optometrist? You're joking? But I've actually thought about that a lot. I mean, as players age, your eyes start to go. Now, you don't even really notice it because, it can happen gradually. It can also happen instantaneously. Happened to my brother. He woke up one morning and his, vision was shit. But I think that as you get older, in general, your vision gets worse. I wonder if these guys are doing any kind of tests on eyes. What is Stanton seeing? What is LeMahieu seeing? A couple of years ago, Gleyber Torres, he used to wear those clear glasses that had no purpose, and he was like on fire. and then he stopped wearing them and he stopped hitting. And everybody was like, why don't you wear the glasses? But they served apparently no therapeutic purpose. Just weird. Just weird. So Stanton and Bader just rest roulette tonight. Yeah, the Yankees are sitting. They're sitting Bader. So Brian Hoke posted a picture of Harrison Bader at, and I'm going to share this. I thought this was a funny tweet. Harrison Bader was shaking hands before the game. Let's see if we can find this here. Close down everything. And I just saw a resemblance to something in the past. Let me go ahead and share this with you. So here's the picture. Harrison Bader signs autographs during Yankees batting practice. And I thought he was gone. It reminded me of JFK shaking hands at the Dallas airport. I don't know. Guys, I don't know what to tell you. Our GM sucks. Our team sucks. This year has been a wash. I'm just hoping they call up some of the kids. You're seeing Jason Dominguez right now. This might be, that was Pereira, I believe. The Yankees could use an injection of youth. They just need somebody who can hit, man. And the fact that they haven't done anything to get anybody who can hit is supremely disappointing. Let's take a few more questions.
Game over, man. Game over.
We're gonna get out of here.
Parks and Young says, what a dud of a deadline. Very succinctly. Cassandra says, why didn't we trade Rizzo? Nobody wants him. He hasn't hit jack in months.
You gotta go.
We look at the highlights from last night. Jake Bauer getting into one. Back in the lineup tonight. I'll see you guys for the post game. But unfortunately, with the same team, it looks like. I'll see you then.
Ball game over.
Most impressive.